Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today I am going to get into a Q&A video. And in this video I found questions some other place, and let's just jump on into it. So the question comes in as the person has created a gaming channel on YouTube about a month ago, and they got 2 subscribers. But their biggest problem is for a 30-minute video, it takes a whole day to upload. And what they're talking about is sometimes will start uploading by 7 a.m. and when 7 p.m. comes around, they'll find that something's not working or something's messed up. So with that, they're basically asking for some advice on how to fix this. So as far as this goes, as someone with a networking background, studying networking and coding and all the other stuff, what I'm going to advise you is check a few things. And the first thing is your area. It's fairly important. If you're somewhere like in the United States, UK, Germany, something like that, this is not normal. But if you're in a place like in middle of Africa, not all of Africa, but just certain sections of it where there's poor infrastructure or no infrastructure, Middle East is a major place, India, and there's a few other places. But basically where there's poor or very little infrastructure at all, well, the problem is you can get stuff like this. To the point that some of these areas, they're Google, Facebook, and a few others are talking about bringing internet to some of those areas and making money that way by using blimps, satellites, and stuff like that. It's because it's just too difficult to lay out the lines going to those areas and keep them up to date. Because one of the biggest problems that they have is gangs and corruption in a lot of those areas. Unfortunately, you got dictators or kingdoms or whatever it may be, and gangs that are trying to keep people down and oppress, so you can control them and get money off of them or use them in some type of slave labor, which still goes around today. It's just in those particular areas. And by the way, if those people who's arguing about that stuff today in the United States, you might want to check those areas out and start defending those rights over there. So as far as that goes, the thing to note is if you're in one of those areas, I'm sorry, but you're shell luck. Until you move or things change, like politically and security-wise, the fact of the matter is in some of those areas, it's just too risky just to get technicians in to lay lines or keep up the lines. So that's a major thing to keep in mind. And some there's been war for many years. Now, as far as that goes, the thing to note here is this is dial-up numbers. As far as what's being said, as far as for a 30-minute video to take about from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. type stuff for about 12-hour period, that is about dial-up period. So if you're having dial-up, fine. That's going to be an extreme case because not too many people have that anymore. But if you're anything else, you might want to check a few other things. So I'm going to link down in the description below a video, and this video is a video that gets into how to tell if the problem is from your end or the internet service provider, or if it's just slow out through. This is fairly important because if the problem is your end, then you know the internet service provider doesn't have much to do. They're going to try upsell you, maybe do some other stuff, but for the most part, it's on your head to fix the problem. Now, obviously, if it's ISP's problem, then you know that you can probably get them to fix it, given that they can. Again, some places they're not able to. So what you should check is that first off, but after you're done doing that, which is a simple short test by using command prompt and ping commands, is simply you need to see if you got viruses on your machines, on your laptops, computers, and whatever it may be. Make sure that your computers, I don't care if it's Windows, Apple, Linux, I don't care, that it's up to date. I don't care what it is. You might hear that, oh, Linux don't get viruses, or Macs don't get viruses, or whatever it may be, or Windows are the only ones get viruses. The fact of the matter is, they all get viruses. I've been getting people who say, oh, Macs don't get viruses. Then I was just like them to a video I done on how to get rid of a adware type of virus onto a Mac. Proof positive right there. The fact of the matter is everything, even your phones and stuff, can get viruses. Make sure that it's all up to date, because a lot of that security updates, you might not see, oh, there's any real change when you're playing with the operating system or software or whatever it may be. And most of the time that's just security updates, fixing problems and whatever it is. Because the fact of the matter is if a company doesn't know about a problem and then learns about it, either through someone exploiting it or them just finding it, which happens all the time, then that's where the security updates are going to come in play. So keep in mind that you need to make sure that your operating system, your software, and all that stuff is up to date. So following that, again, you need to see if there is any malware that's sucking down your internet. This is extremely possible, but the one thing you want to note is it might not be malware. It might be just regular programs. You might just have regular programs that are sucking down all your internet. So you might have regular programs, like, for example, you might have weather applications, massive update applications. You might have this and this and this. And the fact of the matter is they're combination. Single is fine. Combination of them all, they suck down your internet too much. This happens quite a bit on older machines, but it's something to keep in mind, because it can easily become a problem. This is one of the reasons why I and many others in the technical field advise that you what's called refresh your machine every so often. This is really up to you, but I'll say about every 6 months to every year. And refresh your machine, what basically means is it formats everything, cleans it like new, and takes off everything, and you just reinstall, or you back up what you're going to use and just upload it back whenever everything's done. And what that does is it gets rid of everything you're not going to use. It gets rid of everything, any bugs and whatever, because it's something that a lot of people don't know, but there is stuff out there that causes problems. You got simple things. Temperature of the room can cause problems with software, with things like that. Humidity, believe it or not, even though we're talking about from a physical to a virtual, that stuff causes problems. And then you got, and believe it or not, this is actually a major problem in some cases, is cosmic rays. Believe it or not, if you take a look at it, this actually is so much of a problem that there's been planes that almost been knocked out of the sky because a single energized particle just hit the right spot. There was a voting platform, electronic voting platform in Europe that I think one of the machines or multiple machines got hit with a particle, some star somewhere else, millions of years ago. It ended up hitting it, and the person got like 4,000 votes when they shouldn't have. So you got things like that where small problems like that, and it fixes it. It basically fixes that. So with that one in mind, basically refreshing the machine fixes these problems, but I'm pretty sure that what your problem is either a malware or you got too much trying to get on the internet, and that needs to be fixed. Now, as far as things you can use, I will link a few programs in the description. Check them out if you want. They monitor your computer and network and see what's going on with the internet. But the thing to note is some Wi-Fi routers, and some routers in general, they actually track how much each given device is using to go on the internet. And with that, what you can do is you can say, oh, this device is sucking down all my internet, while all these other devices aren't. They're just fine. So I need to figure out the problem with this particular device instead of spending about a week on all these other devices that are purely fine. So it does that. Then on top of that, like say for example, if someone like you or whatever on your laptop, you can say, oh, all the data was being used because blah. So you can actually put some real text or real statistics behind what you're doing and say, oh, now I understand why it's being slow. So you got that option. Again, not all routers have that option, but some do. There's software out there again that keeps track of this, and it's worthwhile to take note. But it's the stuff I use is paid, so keep that one in mind. I'm pretty sure there's free stuff out there. But beyond that, there's really not much you can do. What I would advise, if this is still acting up after you found it's not your or found that between your connection to the ISPs to whatever is stable and it's good, like it's best it's going to get type of thing, like it's stable, and then you're finding that the malware is not a problem. There's no malware, or the ones that was on there has nothing to do with the internet, like as far as it's not calling out, doing anything. And then the programs are not a problem, and a recently refreshed your machine or something like that. Well, it might be just the infrastructure for the area. It's something you gotta know. I mean, there's things like that you got to keep in mind. Again, because I am not familiar with where this person is or anything like that. The thing to note is some countries you actually do have to generally worry about that, because what's happening in some countries is, especially when you get into like these presidents, these dictators that label themselves presidents on a world stage, it does whatever. But these places like in Turkey, where you got a very authoritative figures, these places in most Middle East places where you got very authoritative, like cut your throat type of authoritative type stuff. What happens in some of those countries is they funnel the internet. So like anything that you goes out to the internet, it funnels from the ISP out to some government system, and the government system ciphers through all of it and cuts the connection to things they don't want, or okays a connection. And because the government system is so slow, and that's where the bottleneck is, and the only way you can solve that is by moving somewhere else, not in that country obviously, but somewhere else all entirely. That's the thing you gotta note, is that's possible, but the reason why I'm using this as a very, very last example is most people don't have this option, no matter which way you want to look at it. So with that in mind, hopefully this answers some questions. If it doesn't, but feel free to ask questions down below or email me the questions, and I'll see you next video. Hope you have a great day.